This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. Oglala Sioux tribal officials are asking the public to prepare for evacuations near White Clay and Oglala dams in South Dakota. Floodwaters are drenching the Pine Ridge Reservation and have washed out water lines in several communities. Meteorologists say the worst flooding in the area should be over. Lee Strubinger has more.
Officials say 7 communities in the Pine Ridge Reservation are without water. Over the weekend, Governor Kristi Noem activated 13 members of the South Dakota National Guard to distribute water. Abrupt snowmelt from the Black Hills and water from the White River in Nebraska are flooding the area, leaving some tribal members stranded. Puri Poirier is executive director of Pine Ridge Relief, an organization created to coordinate volunteers and resources. She said the communities need food.
We have approximately about 10 shelters, infrastructure that's already in place to use as shelters. So the displaced families, this is women, men, children, babies, needing that food, the water, and basically the supplies since they've been displaced from their homes.
Poirier says horseback riders are piling up resources and reaching isolated communities that are blocked off by floodwaters. Poirier says the reservation is already low on resources, so emergencies like this hit the reservation even harder. Katie Pojorli is a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Rapid City. She says flood gauges along the White River are still high, but there's some positive news.
The one at the Nebraska line is still above major flood stage, and it looks like that will continue for a little bit, but it's going down.
Pojorli says a warm-up later this week could melt the rest of the snow in Pine Ridge, but she says that shouldn't impact flooding too much. She says most of the snow has already melted. For National Native News, I'm Lee Strubinger in Rapid City.
Other tribes in South Dakota, including the Cheyenne River and Rosebud Sioux tribes, are also dealing with floodwaters. Over the weekend, the Hidden Timber Dam broke in Todd County, which washed out roads. Sean Bordeaux is a state representative who represents portions of Rosebud in the State House and says he's never seen flooding like this.
And just uptown in the town of Mission, we got flooding that goes right up to, our old football field and that we practiced on, and the city park and places like this that have maybe had some flooding a little bit over the banks, but we're talking big, wide, expansive areas that have never seen flooding before. So at least not in my 51 years. So it's probably a record amount of water that we have here.
Floodwaters are also impacting tribal communities in different areas of the country. In Montana, the Crow Nation declared a state of emergency, concerned about threats to health, safety, and welfare of residents. And Nebraska tribes are recovering from flooding. State lawmakers in Maine are set to debate a bill which would prohibit schools from using Indian mascots, logos, or nicknames. The Press-Herald reports a public hearing is scheduled for Monday on the bill. It comes as residents in Skowhegan are trying to restore the Indian mascot in their school district. A U.S. House subcommittee is set to examine funding for the Department of the Interior in a budget hearing Tuesday in Washington, D.C. The 2020 budget includes cuts to the agency. Some Democratic lawmakers are concerned how reductions will impact Indian country. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by the law offices of Sonosky, Chambers, Saxe, Miller, and Monkman, a national tribal rights law firm with offices in Washington, D.C., New Mexico, California, and Alaska, and online at www.sonosky.com.
My day one.
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 Day one. Telling inspiring stories of alcohol recovery. Recovery works. Hope starts here. Go to recoveralaska.org to learn more.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.